I think you announced today that you're going to be going to El Salvador. You had said earlier in the week you're going to try to talk to President Bukele. Failing that, you would go to El Salvador. Tell me what your plan is here.
Well, Chris, you laid out the stakes very clearly, both for the country in terms of the Trump attack on freedom and in the case of Kilmar, who is Exhibit A of a bully trying to start by picking on the most vulnerable. So I promised that his wife and his family that I would do everything I could 24/7 to try to bring him home. And that's why I am going to El Salvador. Two reasons. One is to try to talk to government officials about his release. This is a person who the Trump administration conceded had been erroneously abducted and sent to the prison in El Salvador, and to see about how he's doing, what his personal welfare is, if I will be allowed to see him. But my view is, Chris, that we need to keep a spotlight on this injustice for both for Kilmar and his family, but for all the other reasons you outlined in your opening statement.
Now, right there, you saw Democrat Senator Chris Van Hollen as he spoke about his trip that he was planning to take to El Salvador to free Garcia, the MS-13 gang member who was shipped to El Salvador, who's been locked in the El Salvadorian prison, while the Democrat Party chooses this is the hill they want to die on. They're going out here grandstanding and saying, we need to bring this man back, even though there were 2 orders from deportation judges that said he should be deported. He was supposed to have been deported, but when he came over, he told the administration and the left-wing activist judges that he feared for his life in El Salvador. You know why? Because allegedly he was involved in heinous crimes in El Salvador prior to Bukele becoming president. Now, since Bukele has taken over, he took El Salvador, which was considered the worst and most dangerous country in the Western Hemisphere, and has turned it into the safest country in the Western Hemisphere, decreasing crime by somewhere around 80 to 85%. Why? Because he used his Supermax prison, CCOT, to lock up the most dangerous and vicious criminals in El Salvador, but also because a whole lot of those immigrants fled with the Biden-Harris promise of an open checkbook, free housing, and free food. They came over here. And for some reason, the Democrats believe because this individual was married with children, there's no way he was a gang member. When after his head was shaved, the tattoo is right on the back of the head. Not to mention the tattoos that were all over his arms that represented his gang. So again, the Democrats keep using this one small technicality of sent to El Salvador in error. And the only reason why they keep saying that is because that individual told whatever immigration judge that he feared for his life in El Salvador. That's why he was seeking asylum here. So to make it known, Garcia is an El Salvadorian citizen. He's been sent to an El Salvadorian prison. But we got a American Democrat senator acting like he's just going to go over there and dictate to the president of that country what that president is going to do with the citizens of that country. So he goes over to El Salvador, acting like he was going to be Captain Save him, and he was going to save Garcia, snatch him out, and reunite him with his wife and his children. Didn't work out the way that he planned. So in this video, I'm going to show you this article, then I'm going to show you the video clips, the interview that he did after going to El Salvador and being embarrassed. You'll find a kick out of this. So let's check out this article here from Reuters. So as you see, it says El Salvador blocks U.S. senator from visiting. And you see how the media keeps spinning it? Wrongly deported Salvadorian man. All these left-wing and lamestream media don't realize this is a 90-10 issue, meaning 90% of the American people support it, only 10% don't. And that 10% are the blue-haired, crazy, left-wing extremist libtards that don't give a crap about law, real law, and about what's right. And this Maryland senator is standing up representing for this El Salvadorian gang member rather than Rachel Morin, who's also a Marylander, a mother of 5, who was unalived by an illegal immigrant who was deported once, came back across the border, unalived this mother of 5. So now her children are motherless, but we got our Democrat leadership going to fight for an illegal in another country, talking about due process when they came here illegally and was ordered to be deported twice. And just the other day, the verdict in the trial of that illegal immigrant, that savage monster who unalived Rachel Morin, he was found guilty of first-degree unaliving. And remember, I only say unaliving because YouTube zings you when you use the M word representing unaliving people. But The verdict came down guilty. Do you know that this senator's office put out a statement? Not even him. He didn't reach out to the family. He didn't send his condolences or sorrow to her family. He sent his condolences to the El Salvadorian family. He's working with the El Salvadorian's wife. He's going over to El Salvador to free that illegal immigrant and to bring him back to America, where the moment he touches soil, he's deported again. Please no. The only order was that he not be sent to an El Salvadorian prison, but he could be shipped anywhere in the world. And little do these left-wing libtards realize, Trump them could have shipped him to a whole nother country where they didn't speak the language, and he'd really be messed up. So they sent the man back to his home country, rightfully so. But let's check out this article, then I'll get into the video. El Salvador, April 16th, Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen said on Wednesday, authorities in El Salvador had denied him access to Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Salvadoran man mistakenly deported and being held in a notorious prison in the country. Van Hollen arrived in the Central American nation on Wednesday morning, saying he would seek to meet with senior Salvadorian officials to secure Abrego Garcia's release. Didn't work out too well. But Van Hollen told reporters El Salvador's vice president, Felix Wola, had told the senator he could not authorize a visit or a call with Abrego Garcia. If you enjoyed the video, do me a solid and hit that like button, because I will never ask you for one or two things. I'll never ask you for a cash app or a super chat, but you hitting that like button, it really does help. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And when you do, turn on your notifications and make sure you hit all. That way you'll be notified when I upload new videos. Van Hollen, who is a member of the U.S. Senate Foreign Relations Committee, said Uola had also told him El Salvador was not releasing Abrego Garcia because the United States was paying to keep him incarcerated. Why should the government of the United States pay the government of El Salvador to lock up a man who was illegally abducted from the United States and committed no crime, Van Hollen said. So as you see, they keep spinning it like he was just somehow taken illegally, or like he's not supposed to be out of there, but that is not the case at all. They're grandstanding. That matter of fact, he's only doing this because he wants to shore up those progressive and those liberal votes. Literally, I don't understand how the Democrats don't realize their party is being taken over by a very small subsection called the progressives, the extremist left wing, and everything they do is catering to them. Men and women's sports, women getting unaliving their unborn babies on demand, open borders, free giveaways to illegals. What has happened to the Democrat Party? They need to strip that name Democrat and just call themselves the progressives, because nothing about them is democratic at all anymore. The government of El Salvador did not immediately respond to the request for a comment on Van Hollen's visit. After Washington acknowledged Abrego Garcia had been deported due to an administrative error, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld an order by Judge Paula Zenas directed the government to facilitate Abrego Garcia's return. Facilitate, meaning if you let him go, we'll make sure he gets back. Does not mean go get. The Supreme Court could have said go get, and then they wouldn't do that because it's international. American courts do not have the power to dictate to another country what they do with their citizens. Hell, we don't even do a good enough job with that here. In a meeting with President Donald Trump at the White House on Monday, El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele said he had no plans to return Abrego Garcia. Earlier on Monday, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security said in a court filing that it does not have the authority to forcibly bring Abrego Garcia back. That's Van Hollen, traitor. On Tuesday, Zenas said she would not immediately hold the government in contempt of court. Said there was no evidence that the administration had tried to retrieve Abrego Garcia, and said she would not tolerate gamesmanship or grandstanding. So this judge is going to dictate to the president of the United States what they will not stand. It's just outright disrespect the way these people treat President Trump. And I'm so tired of it. And I know that he's trying to do the right thing because he don't want the public to think he's coming in and make it look like he's going after his political opponents. But see, the Democrat Party, one thing they did that's really smart, they shade everything before it happens. Knew if President Trump got back in, all the crap that they did, that it was rightfully justified for him to come after them. So they start saying, well, if Trump gets in office, there's this person, that person, it's just a retribution. Nothing there, no there, because they know when they went after him, there was no there. And they made there up out of thin air. And I didn't mean for that to rhyme. It just came on time again. Damn, it happened. But, you know, that's what they do. So let's check out this video, this embarrassing video of Van Hollen while he's in El Salvador, was going to go save the day and bring him back, right? Check out how that worked out for him. I'm not going to play this whole video because in the first couple minutes, it really shines light on what happened. And I'm happy what happened to this clown. Didn't want to meet with Rachel Morin's family, but want to meet with Abrego Garcia's family. You want to go thousands of miles to fight for him. But what about her children? Have you met with her 5 children? Have you done anything for them? She's more of a Marylander than he is.
This is an unsustainable and unjust moment, so it cannot continue this way. I also told his wife and family that I would to meet with Mr. Abrego while I was. So I asked the vice president if I could meet with Mr. Abrego Garcia. And he said, well, you need to make earlier provisions to go visit CCOT. I said, I'm not interested at this moment in taking a tour of CCOT. I just want to meet with Mr. Abrego Garcia.
CCOT's the prison, the maximum security prison. Holds 40,000.
He said he was not able to make that happen. I asked, he said he needed a little more time. I asked him if I came back next week, whether I'd be able to see Mr. Abrego Garcia.
Another free taxpayer trip, right?
He said he promised that either. So I asked him if I could get on the phone, either a video phone or just a phone, and talk to Mr. Abrego Garcia. So I could just ask him how he's doing so I could report back to his family.
What about the 5 children? How are they doing? Report that to the American family.
He said he could not arrange that. He said maybe if the American embassy were to ask, maybe that could happen.
Maybe. It's not going to happen, brother.
So I will certainly ask the American embassy to ask the government of El Salvador to connect us by phone. I asked him how about his family? How can he talk to his wife so that she can hear his voice? I let him know that the family has requested that.
They don't care. He's a criminal to them.
He said he was not sure whether he could make that happen.
The Democrats don't realize no other country on this planet treats criminals like our Democrat Party members do. No other country on this planet treats illegal immigrants with open arms like our country does, unless maybe speaking about Macron in France, you know, those like-minded left-wing extremists that were all hoping for a global one world government where the people would be slaves and minions until President Trump came and the prime minister of Poland stepped in there, and you got Bukele stepped in, that just thrown a monkey wrench in this whole global agenda of what they were trying to get through.
So we have an unjust situation here.
Look at him holding his hand.
The Trump administration is lying about Abrego Garcia. The American courts have looked at the facts. In fact, the Trump administration lawyer, the government lawyer, admitted to the court that Mr. Abrego Garcia had been mistakenly taken in administrative error, that it was a mistake.
You see how they play on that? The only error was in him going to El Salvador, not being deported. And these folks are so deceptive. They're such liars. And I don't know how they can look themselves in the mirror. How can he stand there with that smug smirk like he's doing good when Rachel Morin is gone? because of people like him and their policies. Her children don't have a mother. And you're over here riding for Abrego Garcia's children and his wife, and you give a damn. But these American people, you don't. It's just like the violence against Tesla, Elon, and Tesla owners. No Democrat politician would condemn it, but then Josh Shapiro's house gets burned up and he almost gets unalive. And now everybody wants to throw up the peace sign and say, hey, we need more love and let's talk now. Only because it touched one of their own. And guess what? It's not over there. The chickens are going to keep humming home to roost on these people. Just like Letitia James. She will go to prison or at least be embarrassed out of politics. Fannie Willis, done. But some of the voters in her district in Georgia are ignorant, lacking knowledge to real information, and they might reelect her again, but she'll never have credibility again. Jack Smith, done. Alvin Bragg, man, he's the next election for being out of there. So all of these people threw boomerangs at Trump and it's coming back around. And Van Hollen, I assure you, he gonna get his just doings during the next election. I hope people like you, myself, other patriots out here, get people round up, get to the polls and get these people out. Speaking of polls, CNN just did another one. Trump's favorability has gone up since the tariffs, since this whole Garcia thing, and the Democrats are exposing themselves. And they want us to believe they really would have protected our border. They want us to believe with Democrat leadership in the House, the Senate, and the White House, we could trust that they would do right by the American people. BS. We see them showing their hand, and we got you. We see you. We know who you are now. When people show us who they are, we have to believe them. I just wanted to bring this to light and show you how this grandstanding left-wing extremist activist Democrat senator of Maryland has negated his duties to his American voter, Rachel Morin's family, and has pledged his loyalty to an illegal immigrant gang member and his family. It's insane, but this is what America has come to until right now. We're bringing the golden age back. It's America first. Patriotism lives and rises, and I can't wait till this progressivism, left-wing extremism dies. But if you stayed in and you watched it this far, I appreciate you for watching. I get so, but apologize again for the rant. But if you watched this far, I thank you. And if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, you be safe, you be great. I'm Brian Maxwell. I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.